Stop whatever you're doing seriously, pause your scrolling, take a deep breath, and secure your edges because what I'm about to reveal will shake. Atlanta harder than a love and hip-hop reunion with no security. Allegedly, supposedly, and according to sources who definitely shouldn't be talking but absolutely are. Todd Tucker has officially gone from supportive reality TV husband to breaking news headline with handcuffs included. Because, yes, ladies and gentlemen, Todd Tucker has been arrested right in the middle of his explosive $325 million divorce battle with Kandi Burruss. And not just arrested, oh no. This isn't your regular Bravo scandal. This went down live in a packed courtroom, as us marshals stormed in like they were busting a drug cartel instead of a man who struggles to keep a restaurant open. Cameras flashing, spectators screaming, Kandi frozen like she just watched her entire marriage get repossessed in 4K resolution. Why did they take him? What did he do? And how does a man who can't even manage a basic storyline suddenly end up in a federal level? Meltdown involving secret accounts, hidden money, and a financial mess the size of a Tyler Perry plot twist. Buckle up because this scandal is about to get messier than a cast trip on Real Housewives after 2 margaritas and 1 bad decision. The scandal did not just enter Atlanta quietly. It arrived like a hurricane that ripped the doors off the courthouse, knocked over the microphones, and sent every reporter scrambling to figure out how. Todd Tucker managed to turn a simple divorce into a full-scale federal spectacle. For years, people had whispered about Todd, calling him ambitious, mysterious, a little too slick for comfort. But no one ever imagined that those whispers would explode into a $325 million disaster that now has the whole city clutching its pearls. From the moment the police stepped into that courtroom, not gently, but with the authority of people who were done playing games, it was clear that something massive had snapped in the Tucker Burruss universe. Spectators who came expecting a standard divorce hearing suddenly found themselves front row to a real-time public takedown, and every single one of them knew they would be telling this story for the rest of their lives. It did not help that Todd had always carried a reputation that walked the fine line between hard-working husband and man with too many unanswered questions. Fans of the show remembered the side comments, the weird energy during arguments, the times he disappeared on trips that made no logical sense, and of course the warnings from Mama Joyce, who practically built a brand out of saying she did not trust him. Back then, everyone laughed and called her dramatic. Today, she looks like the only person in the entire storyline who had her third eye open from day one. Then came the leaked financial documents that painted a picture no one was ready for, showing transactions that moved money in patterns more suspicious than a reality star with a sudden spiritual awakening. Anonymous insiders talked about shell companies registered overseas, random payments funneling into unfamiliar accounts, and emails that suggested Todd was not just spending money but hiding it with the kind of precision usually reserved for people in spy movies. One insider described the activity as chaos disguised as business, while another claimed Todd had been bragging privately about building his own empire. An empire that, according to every source willing to speak, was financed almost entirely by Kandi's earnings. Rumors began circulating online long before the arrest, with bloggers posting screenshots of Todd at luxury events without Kandi and Reddit threads tracking his late-night movements like he was a political fugitive. Still, no one expected to see actual law enforcement walk into a courtroom filled with reality TV fans and legal professionals who were merely trying to get through their day. When the marshals entered, people gasped so loudly the judge had to stop speaking. Cameras were pulled out, reporters stumbled over chairs, and Todd sat frozen as if he had never imagined the lies would catch up to him in such dramatic fashion. And yet, the craziest part was that the chaos was only getting started. As the courtroom settled, Kate, into a stunned silence that felt heavier than the air before a thunderstorm, investigators began quietly circulating documents that only intensified the chaos already unfolding around Todd Tucker's arrest, revealing a labyrinth of financial activity so Bizarre that even the most seasoned reporters struggle to understand how one man managed to orchestrate such a tangled secret life while pretending to be a supportive husband on national television. According to leaked investigative notes, federal agents had been tracking Todd's movements for months, following trails of large wire transfers, cash withdrawals timed suspiciously close to Kandi Burruss's major payouts, and business filings connected to companies that appeared to exist only on paper. Anonymous sources claimed that some of these so-called businesses had no employees, no products, no offices, and no purpose other than receiving funds that disappeared into overseas accounts minutes later. One investigator described the situation as a maze built by someone who thought he was smarter than the system, while another said the financial inconsistencies were too blatant to be mistakes, insisting that Todd had been moving money with intention and confidence, as if he believed no one would ever dare question him. Meanwhile, the public reaction was immediate and explosive, with social media turning into a digital courtroom of its own as bloggers posted supposed leaked audio clips and text messages that painted Todd as someone juggling lies with the recklessness of a person who never expected consequences. There were alleged voice notes where he reportedly bragged to an unnamed friend about having access to funds no one else knew about, followed by claims from witnesses who said they saw him meeting unfamiliar women at upscale restaurants under the guise of production meetings. One person on an anonymous gossip forum insisted they once overheard Todd complaining that he was tired of being known as Kandi's husband and wanted to prove he could build his own empire. A statement that took on a disturbing new meaning once evidence of hidden accounts and international dealings surfaced. Even more shocking were the claims that Todd purchased expensive gifts, jewelry, and luxury experiences for people outside his marriage using cards linked directly to Kandi's trust accounts, with one insider describing a pattern of spending that would make even the most careless celebrity accountant faint. Public outrage grew so quickly that news stations began running emergency segments, while fan pages dedicated entire threads to dissecting every piece of information that trickled out. The narrative expanded from whispers of infidelity to accusations of calculated exploitation, with viewers questioning how long Todd had been planning this separate life and whether he had ever truly loved Kandi at all, or simply loved the lifestyle her success provided. The scandal spiraled so uncontrollably that rumors emerged claiming federal agencies were preparing to widen the investigation and search through years of financial history, suggesting that this entire meltdown was only the first chapter of something far uglier waiting to unfold beneath the surface. As investigators continued peeling back the layers of this increasingly disturbing situation, the atmosphere around the case grew darker, almost suffocating, as if every new revelation added a fresh weight to the already collapsing image of Todd Tucker's carefully maintained public life. And whispers inside legal circles suggested that what the world had seen so far was only the surface of a scandal that reached deeper than anyone first imagined. Quiet reports leaked from courthouse staff describing agents hauling in box after box of documents, hard drives, and sealed evidence bags, while attorneys close to the matter warned that the financial inconsistencies being uncovered were not simple lapses in judgment, but patterns that pointed toward deliberate intent and long-term planning. Some claimed that investigators had stumbled on communication logs showing Todd discussing money movement strategies with unidentified contacts weeks before the divorce filing, with messages hinting that he believed he could outrun any legal fallout if he acted quickly enough. Others whispered about surveillance footage capturing him entering financial institutions under different identities, raising even more questions about how far he was willing to go to protect his secret life. Meanwhile, the public was spiraling into full disbelief as the story spread beyond entertainment blogs and made its way onto mainstream news outlets, where anchors struggled to deliver updates without pausing to process the bizarre mix of betrayal, hidden wealth, and alleged criminal behavior unfolding in real time. Viewers were glued to their screens as legal experts speculated about possible charges ranging from fraud to identity Misuse to financial manipulation? While commentators debated whether Todd had acted alone or had help from figures still unknown, the speculation grew so intense that rumors began surfacing about potential cooperation deals being offered to people connected to Todd, with insiders claiming some of his closest associates had already been questioned by federal agents. At the same time, Kandi Burruss found herself unwillingly thrust into the center of a firestorm she never asked for, with fans rallying behind her while also wondering how much she knew, how much she suspected, and how deeply she felt the shock of discovering her marriage had been built on a foundation of secrecy and hidden agendas. According to people close to her, she was devastated, yet composed, refusing to let the chaos drag her down even as investigators revealed that millions of dollars intended for her business ventures had been siphoned away without her knowledge. As the case expanded, whispers emerged about potential asset freezes, forensic accounting teams digging through years of financial history, and the possibility that this investigation could lead to even wider consequences for people tied to the transactions. Legal analysts warned that the case might trigger a series of hearings that could expose even more scandals buried beneath the initial narrative. And with each passing hour, it became increasingly clear that Todd Tucker was facing a mountain of legal trouble that would not be easily resolved. Court officials hinted at upcoming announcements regarding possible charges and hearings, leaving the public waiting in uneasy anticipation as the story reached a point where no one could confidently predict what would happen next. If everything you just heard has left you questioning reality, faith, relationships, financial trust, and every smiling couple you have ever seen on television, then you are not alone. Because this case is unraveling faster than anyone expected, and the truth is getting darker with every new detail that surfaces. And before you step away from this video pretending you are unaffected, ask yourself what part shook you the most. Was it the secret accounts, the hidden conversations, the mysterious associates? Or the possibility that this entire marriage was a carefully constructed performance hiding a second life no one saw coming? Tell me exactly what moment made you stop and stare, because your perspective matters and your voice adds to the investigation we are building together. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss the next chapter of this story. Because what comes next might change everything you thought you knew.